Welcome to Lesson 3. Review modifying your yoga practice on the main menu before you begin. In Lesson 3, you'll learn to practice the chest opener, the hip opener, the twist, and the leg stretches lying on the floor. If it's difficult for you to get on the floor, continue to practice these postures in a chair the way you practice them in Lessons 1 and 2. Welcome to Lesson 3. Long roll chest opener. To begin, open up a blanket, place one blanket on top of the other, smooth out any wrinkles you might find, and roll your blanket up from the long end. The blanket needs to be long enough for your head and buttock bones to rest comfortably. Take your blanket roll to the center of your non-skid mat. You might want an extra blanket folded in half just in case you would like some head support. Recline over the blanket with your buttock bones and your head firmly supported on the blanket roll. Take your arms out to the sides, turning the underside of the arms to face up and letting the shoulders release. You can stretch the legs out straight or keep your knees bent if you find that more comfortable. To come out of the posture, bend your knees, roll onto your right side, and use your hands and arms to push yourself back up to a seated position. For some with low back concerns, the passive chest opener may not be comfortable. An alternative is to use blankets stacked in a wedge shape, sitting in front of the blankets and reclining over the blankets. Now we'll do a passive chest opener on the floor. So what I'd like you to do is take the blanket from the way it comes off the stack, and you can hold up because I'm going to put you into the other chest opener that's better for you. I'm going to open up the blanket once so that it's roughly 4 foot by 3 foot. Take a second blanket and put it on top of the first blanket. Everybody got that so far? People don't realize that yoga class is going to require blanket folding. We use the blankets a lot to help support us in the posture. And then from the long end, you're going to roll this up. You can come down to the floor if you want to do that. Push the chair aside just a bit and take the long roll right onto your non-skid mat. So, and then all you need to do is come onto that roll, put your head on one end and your backside on the other, and let yourself release over the roll. You can keep your knees bent or extend your legs out if you're more comfortable with that. Whichever way is more comfortable for you. Stair step it a little bit. Turn both sides under. After you get those edges turned under, then kind of see what your stair step's doing, Ann. Yep. And then that one in half. That's you're gonna adjust that under your head. And Ann, why don't you as well take those two little bolsters and put them under your knees. And then as you go to get in this, you're going to sit right up next to the edge of the blankets and recline. Well, maybe you better pull those two underneath your knees now. And you're going to sit in front of the blankets, Ann. Okay. So right now you're on one. Yep. And then if your low back, does your low back feel okay there? Yeah, and then straighten out the arm things to whatever's comfortable for you. You comfortable there? Let your eyes release and relax away from the front of your skull. Let the space between your eyebrows release and relax. Leave a little space between your upper and lower teeth to release and relax your jaw. Let the front of your body open and expand, the right side of your body falling off to the right a bit, the left off to the left, letting the front of the body open and expand, allowing the back side of your body to release into the support of the rolled up blanket. And as you're here, begin to sense and feel and notice your breath. Sense and feel, notice your breath as it's coming into your body. Sense and feel, notice your breath as it leaves your body. Not making changes or judgments, just noticing the breath as it comes and as it goes, sensing the rib cage expanding with the inhalation, releasing with the exhalation. Allowing the breath to wash in and wash out. The arms release and relax, the upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms of the hands, backs of the hands, all 10 fingers releasing. Each exhalation allowing the spine to release more and more as the front of the body is open and spacious and expansive. And then bend your knees if they're not bent already. And you're always going to roll to the left. Roll onto your right side. Bring your left arm around in front of you. Use your hands and arms to push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet a comfortable distance apart and parallel. Bring the pelvis into a neutral position with some space between the floor and the low back. Take a moment to let the shoulders and hips settle into the floor. Then bring your ankle onto your thigh, and with an exhalation, bring your foot up off the floor, shin parallel to the floor. Stretch and spread the toes. Stay active in the legs. The inner left groin spins to the outer left thigh. Right knee comes towards you as the left knee moves away from you. To come out of the pose, release your hands. Take your foot back down to the floor. On another exhalation, your second foot back down to the floor. Then roll onto your right side and use your hands and arms to sit up. You may want to use a strap behind the thigh to extend the length of the arms and allow the shoulders to stay releasing and relaxed into the support of the floor. You may want to use a block under your foot, especially if there are any low back difficulties that make it difficult to bring the shin parallel to the floor. The hip opener can also be done seated in a chair, folding forward, or in the corner of a room if stability is an issue. what I'd like you to do now is to put a blanket on your mat if you want to, or if you're fine with just the mat, that's fine. So Ed, you usually need some support underneath your head. I'm gonna take one, maybe two. We'll see how it looks on you today. So if you'll lie on your back. Okay, I think I want a half, Ed. Here we go, try that. See, you have a tendency to do this. I want you to do that. You feel the difference? Mm-hmm. So this actually cranks your neck a little bit. This keeps you in neutral position. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, bend your knees. Turn the underside of your arms to face up. Allow your shoulders and hips to release and relax into the floor. Leave a little space between your upper chest wall and the top of your arm so you could fit a little tangerine in your armpits. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Bring your right ankle onto your left thigh. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Pick your left foot up off the floor. Interlace your fingers beyond the left thigh. Left shin comes parallel to the floor. Now, if this makes your shoulders struggle a little bit to get to your leg, then you can always use a stretch of belt, which will extend the length of your arms a bit. Relax your face, relax your throat, and breathe. Don't stop breathing. Beryl, we're gonna give you a little bit under your head since you're off the map there. Stretch and spread your toes, relax your face, relax your throat, and breathe. The inner right thigh rotates to the outer right knee. This is what takes the right leg away from you. It's a rotation of the thigh bone from the inside to the outside, a lateral rotation of the thigh bone. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Bring your left foot back down to the floor, releasing your hands. On your next exhalation, bring your right foot back to the floor and pause for a moment. Then take a breath in as you breathe out. Take your left ankle onto your right thigh. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Pick your right foot up off the floor. Interlace your fingers beyond the right thigh. Stretch and spread your toes. Right shin parallel to the floor. Relax your face and throat and breathe. Inner left groin spins to the outer left knee. The toes are stretched and spread. Face soft, breath soft. Good. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Bring your right foot back to the floor. On your next exhalation, your left foot back to the floor as well. Begin by lying on your back, feet a comfortable distance away from the buttock bones. Allow the shoulders and buttocks to release and rest into the floor. Then bring your knees into your chest. Hug your knees into your chest for a moment, allowing the low back to stretch out. Then extending the arms out to the sides, lower than shoulder height. Bring your legs up and over to one side. Allow the legs to rest completely and fully onto the floor. If the legs don't rest fully and completely onto the floor, take a blanket underneath the bottom leg or blankets between the two knees. If it's uncomfortable for your shoulder, allow your hand to come onto your hip and simply roll the shoulder back. Allow the spine to turn and rotate from the base of the spine, working your way up through the mid-back and shoulder, and lengthen from your shoulder to your hip. After practicing the posture on the second side, roll onto your right side and use your hands and arms to bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can also do modifications of the twist by sitting in a chair seat or standing at the wall with your foot up on a chair seat. Now, if your chair is right where your legs are going to be when you bring your legs over to the side. Then move your chair a bit. And if you normally have support between the two knees, do we do just one, Lee, or two?
Yes, that's double.
Extend your arms out to the sides, turning the palms up. Your arms are a little lower than shoulder height. Take a breath in as you breathe out from right where your feet are now. Let your legs come to rest on the floor to the right. So Ed, here's where you would take the blankets between the two knees so that the top leg can rest. And now the spine turns and rotates to the left as the legs release to the right. And the whole of the left side of the body can open and expand. Take the left hip away from the left shoulder. If your shoulder is up off the floor, that's okay, but you might try taking your hand a little bit lower. This has a tendency to allow the shoulder to release. And once again, the left hip moving away from the left shoulder. Relax your face and throat and breathe. Good. Bring your eyes back up to the ceiling. Bring your knees back up over your chest. Hug your knees into your chest for a moment. Then place both feet back onto the floor. Let your legs rest on the floor to the left side of your body. The right chest wall now opens up, right hip moving away from the right shoulder. Good. Bring your eyes back up towards the ceiling and your knees back up over your chest. Hug your knees into your chest. Good. Then place both feet back on the floor. Find your belt, your strap. Begin by lying on your back with the strap wrapped around the arch of your right foot. Roll the inner thighs in and down. Tuck your tailbone towards your heels. The face of the legs is straight up towards the ceiling. The pelvis is in a neutral position. On an exhalation, begin to lift the right leg up, but keep the left leg in the left side of the pelvis, releasing down into the floor. Take the belt in your right hand only. Turn and rotate the right leg in its socket to the right. Then begin to lower the right leg up and over to the right. On inhalation, bring the leg back up. Bend the left knee. Shift the hips over to the right a little bit. Stretch the left leg out straight. Change hands with the belt and bring the right leg up and over to the left, lengthening through both legs, coming onto the side seam of the left leg. And lengthen from the right shoulder to the right hip. When you're ready to come out of the posture, inhale and lift the right leg back up. Bend the left knee, place the left foot on the floor, bump your hips back over to the left, stretch the left leg out straight, and then lower the straight right leg back down to the floor. You may want to do the posture with one leg out of a doorway and one leg up the wall to help with tight hamstrings. If stability is a concern, you may want to do the posture in the corner of a room, pressing the feet into the wall. The leg stretches can also be done sitting upright in a chair. And do these shorter. Wrap the belt around the arch of your right foot. Stretch both legs out along the floor unless you're having some low back difficulties, then you keep the left knee bent. Roll the inner thighs in and down. Tuck your tailbone towards your heels so the legs are straight. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Lift the right leg up. Keep the left side of the pelvis releasing down into the floor. Relax your face and throat. Keep breathing. The legs should be straight. Doesn't matter how high it is. The legs should be straight. Take the belt in your right hand only. Turn and rotate the right leg in its socket to the right. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Bring the right leg up and over to the right, keeping the left side of the pelvis stable. Left thigh releasing down into the floor, and breathe. Relax your face, relax your throat, and breathe. Inhale, bring your leg back up. Bend your left knee. That's the non-belted leg knee. Pick your hips up and move 1 inch to the right. So you're going to pick your hips up off the floor and just move them over 1 inch to the right. Stretch the left leg out straight again, the non-belted leg out straight. Change hands with the belt, so it's in your left hand only. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Bring the right leg up and over to the left, coming onto the side seam of your left leg, turning onto the little toe side of your left foot, reaching through both legs. And the same thing happens here as happened in the simple or easier twist, and that is that the right hip moves away from the right shoulder. So it's the same. This stretches the leg muscles, the hamstring muscles, the quadricep muscles, and also the piriformis muscle. Inhale, bring your right leg back up. Bend your left knee, place your left foot on the floor. Bump your hips back over to the left a little bit to straighten yourself out. Stretch the left leg out straight. Extend and lengthen the right leg back down to the floor. Good, and just pause for a moment. Then slip your left foot into the belt loop, slip your right foot out of the belt loop. Roll your inner thighs in and down. Tuck your tailbone towards your heels. Reach evenly through your inner and outer feet. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Lift the left leg up. Keep the right thigh releasing down into the floor. Good. Take the belt in your left hand only. Turn and rotate the left leg out to the left. So you're not going to make circles. You just turn the leg out to the left, like your knees trying to smile over towards the windows. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Bring the left leg up and over to the left. There you go. Keep the right side of the pelvis releasing down into the floor. And breathe. Good, and inhale, bring your leg back up. Bend your right knee, place your right foot on the floor. Pick up your buttock bones and move to the left a little bit. Stretch the right leg out straight again. Change hands with the belt, so the belt's in your right hand. Bring the left leg up and over to the right, crossing the left leg up and over to the right. Reach through both legs and come onto the little toe side of your right foot. Go ahead and let your right foot come down to the floor. The little toe of the right foot is down on the floor. Reach through both legs and come onto the little toe side of your right foot. Go ahead and let your right foot come down to the floor. The little toe of the right foot is down on the floor. Good, and inhale, bring your leg back up. Bend the right knee, place your right foot on the floor, bump your hips back straight, stretch the right non-belted leg out straight along the floor, then the left leg along the floor as well. And just pause for a moment. Okay, bend your knees, roll onto your right side. Use your hands and arms out in front of you to push yourself up to a seated position. And then bring yourself all the way upright. So we'll start with sitting up tall. I'd like you to have your knees directly over your ankles. Shoulders back, lift the breastbone and chest. Take your right hand underneath your right thigh. Bring your foot up off the floor and turn some circles with your foot. Turn in the opposite direction. Take your toes down towards the floor. Take your toes up towards the ceiling. Once more down towards the floor, and once more up towards the ceiling. And then turn some circles with the hip. So we're feeling the thigh bone roll around in the hip socket. Turn in both directions. And then take your ankle onto your thigh. Take the palm of your hand to the sole of your foot. Interlace your fingers with your toes. Try to get them all the way down, webbing to webbing. Hold on to your foot and turn circles with your foot. The harder this is, really, the more you should do it. Turn in both directions. Take your toes towards your shin. Take your toes away from your shin. Do a little twist with the ball of the foot. Stretch and spread your fingers inside your toes. Remove your fingers. Keep the space. Come to your left leg. Take your hands underneath your left thigh. Turn circles with your foot. Turn in both directions. Take your toes down towards the floor, and these might be getting more important for you if the swelling comes back. And up towards the ceiling, and down towards the floor, and up towards the ceiling, and one more time, down towards the floor, and up towards the ceiling. Take your hands under your thigh, turn some circles with the hip. Bring your ankle onto your thigh. Interlace your fingers with your toes. Hold on to your foot and turn circles with your foot. Turn in both directions. Take your toes towards your shin. Take your toes away from your shin. Do a little twist with the ball of the foot. Stretch and spread your fingers inside your toes. Remove your fingers. Keep the space. Good. And then take both feet flat on the floor. Take your hands underneath your right thigh. Bring your leg up. Turn a few circles with the hip. Turn in both directions. Take your ankle onto your thigh. Hold on to your foot. Take your thumb and finger to the base of the big toe. Turn till you get to the top. Go back to the base and turn till you get to the top. Go back to the base and tug. Do all that to all 5 of your toes, turning in one direction, turning in the other direction, and tugging. Kind of like you're screwing in a little candelabra bulb and then screwing it out again. And a tug. After you've turned each of your toes, stretch and spread the ball of the foot. And run your thumbs down the arches of your foot. If you find any tender spots, spend a little bit more time there. Good, and bring your foot back on the floor, feet parallel. Take your hands under your thigh, turn some circles with the hip. Take your ankle onto your thigh, hold on to your foot. Turn all the way up on one side, turn in the opposite direction, and then tug. Do all 5 of your toes. After you turn each toe, stretch and spread the ball of the foot. And run your thumbs down the arches of your foot. If you find any tender spots, spend a little bit more time there. Good. And then take both feet flat on the floor. Feet parallel, stretch and spread your toes. Make space between each and every toe. Lift your big toes up, leave your little toes down on the floor. If you can lift your big toes up, take your big toes towards each other. Base of the ball, the big toe is down on the floor. The big toes are lifting, the big toes are reaching towards each other. Take your big toes down, back down to the floor. Press your big toes into the floor, lift the 8 little toes up. Try not to draw the outer foot off the floor, just the 8 little toes, and stretch and spread the 8 little toes. Then keep the big toes down, take the baby toes down, and lift the middle 3 up. Stretch and spread the middle 3. You're getting there, Lee. Good, and relax your feet. Give them a little pat on the floor. Thank you, Beryl. Got incredible toes. Take your feet a comfortable distance apart and parallel to each other. And as you consider parallel, draw imaginary lines through your second toes all the way through your feet, and make sure that even miles behind you, those lines would never, ever, ever meet. Stretch and spread your toes. Bring your weight forward a little bit into the balls of your feet. Bring your weight back a little bit into your heels. Go the inside of your feet a little bit, the outside of your feet a little bit, maybe a little sway to the left, sway to the right. So you're going to press into the base of the ball, the big toe, the base of the ball, the little toe, and the inner outer heel. Let the arches of the feet lift up. Draw the leg muscles up. The energy of the shins is in towards the midline and slightly forward. So we don't push the knees back, we do draw the leg muscles up. The inner thighs draw back, the tailbone drops down and in, the front hip bones lift up. There's a drawing into the midline. Collarbones widen and broaden, the shoulders broaden, the head comes back in line with the rest of the spine, and you're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Good. Extend the arms out to the sides. Turn your palms to face up. Inhale, raise the arms up. Shoulders stay down and back away from the ears. Take your palms to face towards front. Take your right hand behind your left. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Extend up and over to the right, keeping your left foot firm. Relax your face and throat. Good. Come back to center. Re-engage the upper arm bones down into the shoulder blades. Take the right hand in front of the left. Extend up and over to the left, keeping the right foot firm. Good. Come back to center. Extend the arms out to the sides. Keep the lift and lightness of the breastbone and chest as you release your arms down to your sides. Find your belt. Bring yourself back into Tadasana, mountain pose, feet firm, well balanced on the four corners of the feet. Give yourself a good stretch of belt out in front of you. Make sure the buckle is close to your hand so it's not flailing around. Bring the upper arm bones back into the shoulder blades. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Take the belt up overhead. Shoulders stay down and back away from the ears. Now, as you take the belt back behind you, you're going to be provoked to overarch your low back. Don't do that. Keep the tailbone down and in. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Take the belt back behind you. Take one arm up and one arm down. Head back, chin level. Good. One arm up, one down. Head back, chin level. Good. And the belt back once again. Take one arm up and one arm down. Head back, chin level. Good. One arm up, one down, head back, chin level. Good. And the belt back once again. And then bring the belt back in front of you. Ardha Gomukhasana. Ardha means half, Go means cow, and Mukha means face. So this posture's name is half face of the cow posture. Half face of the cow relieves tension in the neck, shoulders, and upper spine, and help to bring awareness of how the movement of the arms up and behind the body affects the curve of the low back spine. But if you have spinal, neck, shoulder, or rotator cuff injuries, you need to be careful here and move slowly and cautiously. Stop if any sense of discomfort increases, and modify the poses as needed. Gomukhasana, face of the cow. From mountain pose Tadasana with the feet a comfortable distance apart, extend the arms out to the sides. Reach from the core of your body out through each and every fingertip. Draw from your fingers back into your body. Turn your palms to face up. Inhale, raise the arms up. Shoulders stay down and back away from the ears. The top arm will turn so that the palm faces back behind you. Bend at the elbow, bring the upper arm bone down and into the shoulder blade. Grab the belt where you can. Wave the other arm around a little bit. Take your arm back behind you, go over as far as you can, and then up, and just take hold of the belt wherever you're able. Careful that you're not overarching the low back. Keep the tailbone down and in. Front hip bones lifting to keep the low back full and comfortable. To come out of the pose, release your hands, bring your arms back down and shake it out a little bit. Take the belt over your right shoulder. Extend your arms out to the sides, turn the palms to face up. Inhale, raise the arms up, shoulders stay down and back away from the ears. Turn the right hand so the little finger's closest to your chest. This is the belt side, palm back behind you, bend at the elbow. Grab the belt where you can. Wave the other arm around a little bit. Go over as far as you can and then up. One elbow down, one elbow up. Relax your face and throat and breathe. And as you grab that belt, you're going to have a tendency to overarch the low back. Rather take the tailbone down and in, and the front hip bones lift up. Relax your face and throat and breathe. Head back, chin level. Good. Release the belt. Shake it out a little bit. Maybe cross your arms over a little bit. Good. Take the belt to the other side. Extend the arms out to the sides. Turn your palms to face up. Inhale, raise the arms up. Shoulders stay down and back away from the ears. Turn the left arm now so the palm faces back behind you. Little finger closest to your chest. Bend at the elbow. Head back. Bring the arm back, wave the other arm around a little bit, go back behind you, and grab the belt wherever you can. Head back, chin level. You'll be tempted to overarch the low back. That's better, Kevin, but even just a bit more. Not from here, from here. Here you go. Good. Good, and release your arms, shake it out a bit, cross over a little bit. Good. Okay, let's set the belts aside. Take your chair to the left side of your mat like so. And Kevin and Lee, you all can take your extra seating off your chair. Good, and what we're gonna do is watch for a moment. You'll take hands to either side of the chair seat. You'll step back, bend your knees, roll your buttock bones up, send the heels towards the floor. For some of you with strong legs, that might mean your knees are bent, but what I am looking for is the spine not to be rounded, but the spine to be long, okay? Turn to face your chair seat, take your hands to the chair seat. Step back with both feet, feet parallel. Bend your knees, roll the ischial tuberosities up to the ceiling. So you're going to step back till your heels are on the non-skid mat. Bend your knees a little bit, Ed. So we're trying to get that thoracic spine to drop down into the body. Now breathe into my hand. Come right into my hand. Lift the sitting bones, extend the spine, breathe. Good. So keep that side lifted and breathe into this side of your spine. Good, and gently walk yourself forward. Lift your head up last. Watch for a minute. We're going to have our feet hidden by the chair seat. So your toes will be underneath the chair seat. You won't be able to see them. You're going to bring your hands onto the chair seat. You'll step back with your left leg. Your right knee will stay right over your right ankle, and we'll be here in a lunge. When you come out of this, you take a little step in, another little step in, and then walk yourself in, okay? So make it so that your feet are hidden by the chair seat. Stand up tall, bring your hands to the chair seat. Step back with your left leg. Let the hips drop low, but lift the back leg up. So your foot is a little farther away from, there you go, you got it. Stretch the sole of the left foot back behind you, rather than towards the floor, if that's possible. Good. Shoulders stay up onto the back side of the body and you're breathing. Relax your face and throat. Keep breathing. Good. Take a little step in with the back foot, then a bigger step in, and then walk yourself forward. Bring yourself all the way upright for a moment. Feet hidden by the chair seat, feet parallel to each other. That's right, Ed. Turn your heels out a little bit more, please. Bring your hands onto the chair seat. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Take the right leg back. Come onto the ball of the right foot. Left knee stays directly over the left ankle. If you can, let your hips drop down. Shoulders back. That's right, Ann. Thank you. And breathe. Relax your face, relax your throat, and breathe. Good. Take a little step in with the back foot, then another little step, and then a bigger step in, and bring yourself upright. Turn to face your chair seat. Take your hands to the chair seat. Step back with both feet, feet parallel. Bend your knees, roll the ischial tuberosities up to the ceiling. So we're trying to get that thoracic spine to drop down into the body. Inner thighs come back, outer hips come back, inner kneecaps come back, outer kneecaps come back, inner ankles draw back, outer ankles draw back, and you're breathing. So the spine and the integrity of the spine, the length of the spine we work with first, then we work on taking the legs back, keeping that length in the spine. Lift the sitting bones, extend the spine, breathe. Good, and gently walk yourself forward. Lift your head up last. Take your feet a comfortable distance apart and parallel to each other. And as you consider parallel, draw imaginary lines through your second toes all the way through your feet. And make sure that even miles behind you, those lines would never, ever, ever meet. Stretch and spread your toes. Bring your weight forward a little bit into the balls of your feet. Bring your weight back a little bit into your heels. Go the inside of your feet a little bit, the outside of your feet a little bit, maybe a little sway to the left, sway to the right. So you're going to press into the base of the ball, the big toe, the base of the ball, the little toe, and the inner outer heel. Let the arches of the feet lift up. Draw the leg muscles up. The energy of the shins is in towards the midline and slightly forward. So we don't push the knees back, we do draw the leg muscles up. The inner thighs draw back, the tailbone drops down and in, the front hip bones lift up. There's a drawing into the midline. Collarbones widen and broaden, the shoulders broaden, the head comes back in line with the rest of the spine, and you're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Okay, come into a relaxed position. So some of you like to put your legs up on a chair seat. Some of you like to be flat, and we're gonna do side laying relaxation for you. So I would like you to maybe put some socks on or some overclothing if you're at all cool, or get a blanket to put over top of you if you're at all cool. If you usually take support under your head, you'll take support under your head. So bring yourself on down to the floor and make yourself comfortable. You can be on the roll if you would like. So let your eyes close. Allow your eyes to release and relax away from the front of your skull. Allow the space between your eyebrows to release and relax. Allow some space between your upper and lower teeth to release and relax your jaw. Allow your mouth to release and relax the roof of the mouth, the floor of the mouth, the inner right cheek, the outer right cheek, the inner left cheek, the outer left cheek. Allow your tongue to release and relax in the lower palate. And if you can imagine, even your gums and your teeth releasing. Allow your ears to release and relax and take your sense of hearing inward. Let all the muscles of facial expression release and relax so that your face becomes expressionless. Allow your throat to release and relax. You may need to swallow to do that. The flesh and skin of the skull releases and relaxes away from the bones of the skull. The throat relaxed, the shoulders releasing into the support of the floor, over the blankets. And find and feel your breath. Notice your breath as it comes into your body. Sense and feel. Notice your breath as it leaves your body. Not making any sorts of judgments or deliberate changes. Just noticing, sensing, feeling, watching your breath as it comes and as it goes. Very interesting process because it's a self-study, this observation of the breath. You are the observer and that which is being observed. And each time you breathe out, allow yourself to release and let go a little bit more. The arms release and relax, the upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms of the hands, backs of the hands, all 10 fingers releasing. Each exhalation allowing the spine to release more and more as the front of the body is open and spacious and expansive. The buttocks and hips release and relax. Bones of the pelvis releasing into the floor. The legs releasing and letting go into the support of the floor, the support of the chair, or blankets. Thighs, the tops of the thighs, the backs of the thighs, the inner and outer thighs releasing and letting go, the backs of the knees, fronts of the knees, inner and outer knees releasing, the calves and shins letting go, released. The ankles releasing and letting go, the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, and all 10 toes releasing and letting go. And continue to follow the rhythm and pattern, the sound and feel of your own breath. This is your own life rhythm, oxygen, energy, life breath. This process of turning your attention inward, facilitated by observing the breath, allows you to come away from the surface, away from all those things outside of you that you cannot control. It allows you to begin to find your sense of peace, your sense of tranquility from within, which is really the only reliable source for peace and tranquility. Your breath is always with you until you leave this world. It's a very valuable practice to just spend some time observing the breath, allowing yourself to release with each exhalation. And just allow yourself to rest here for these few moments, not doing, but just being, just breathing. then bend your knees, wiggling fingers and toes. Bring your attention back to the surface. You might take a deeper and a longer breath and let it go. Bend your knees. If your feet are behind the chair seat, you might point your toes a little bit. Roll onto your side, your right side, and stay there for a moment. That's right, Beryl. You'll come up and over. And then once you can get the roll out from underneath you, lie flat for a moment. And then when you're ready, you can roll to your side. You use your hands and arms to bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can come up into your chair. You can just turn yourself around, maybe sit up on your blankets a little bit. Sit up tall. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, Namaste position. Let your eyes close, let your head release so that the gaze of the eyes, if they were open, would be downwards. And then gently open your eyes. And as you're ready, lift your head. Okay, thank you all very much for attending. There's a traditional greeting at the end of a yoga class. Namaste. Have a great rest of your day and a good week. Thank you all for coming to class.